Hey guys, now that you've had some time to learn the unit circle in class, I want to take some time to go back through what you learned and review it all with you. So I just suggest you take out your packets and follow along with me. As you talked about in class, the unit circle, the reason it's called a unit circle is because the radius of it is 1. And hopefully you also talked about how the center, right, because it's on a coordinate grid, is 0, 0, or the origin, because these are really important as we move forward. I want to start off and I want to look at quadrant 1, so the top right of it. And remember, you always count counterclockwise when we're looking at quadrants. So in quadrant 1, that bottom point, since the radius is 1, is just 1, 0. When we're looking at the blue one, think that that has a degree of 30. The red one has a degree, it forms a degree with the bottom radius of 45, and the purple one forms a degree of 60 degrees. So we're going to look at each one individually. So here I redrew that first triangle, that bottom triangle, and I already worked it out. And notice the hypotenuse is really just the radius of the circle, and that's why I labeled it as 1. And 30 degrees was what we started with. And if you remember special right triangles, 30, 60, 90, which hopefully you do, the side opposite the 30-degree angle is your shortest side. So that's where I divided 1 by 2 and got 1/2. And then my longer leg, I take the 1/2 and multiply by root 3. Here I redrew my second triangle, my second point. So my triangle with a 45-degree angle. So it's isosceles. The two legs are going to be congruent. So I once again know the radius or the hypotenuse of the triangle is 1. And remember that the hypotenuse is root 2 times the leg. So now I have to go backwards. Instead of, it's already multiplied by root 2, so now I have to divide by root 2. So that's where I got 1 over root 2, or some of you might know root 2 over 2. Finally, I redrew the last triangle, the one that has a base angle right there of 60 degrees, like the orange, or I think it was purple to begin with. So here, once again, radius is the same as the hypotenuse, which is 1. 30, 60, 90, so I'm trying to find the shortest side, which is across from the 30-degree angle. I divide by 2, so I get 1/2, and then the longer leg across from the 60-degree angle, 1/2 times root 3, which is root 3 over 2. So I don't think I mentioned this as I was going along, but here's my picture of the entire first quadrant. And what I do want to mention is that I'm actually writing coordinate points. And if you remember coordinate points, it's x comma y. X is right and left, y is up and down. So I had my triangle, so you can kind of see like my green, my outlined, I highlighted green triangle now. And my left and right direction was root 3 over 2. My up and down was 1/2. So that's where I got that. The other quadrants are really just reflections of what we just did, right? So then you have to think about how does this translate into quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4, right? Remember, they go counterclockwise. So think about what's true about your x values and your y values. You just did all the math. You solved it all. We just now need to fill in the coordinate points. So if you know one quadrant, you really know them all. To kind of give you a visual, I added this picture in there. So what we just did was quadrant 1. So the top right, the one where it's positive, positive, because your x is positive and your y is positive. In quadrant 2, the top left one, your x coordinate's negative because I'm going left on the x-axis, and your y coordinate's positive because I'm going up, right? And then in quadrant 3, they're both negative. In quadrant 4, the x is positive, the y is negative. So think about how this relates. I'm not going to walk you back through the math. However, I want to point out that this is literally just a reflection, right? Remember that point all the way on the right we started with was 1, 0? But now x becomes negative, so it's negative 1, 0, right? My green one on the other side, my 30-degree angle on the other side, was positive root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. That was my point. So now it's negative root 3 over 2, 1/2. So think about how that first quadrant is literally just a translation. And same thing right here with quadrant 3 and 4. I think I accidentally said translation. I meant reflection, so ignore translation. And I did draw the triangles here, and I drew them up and down, or I'm sorry, upside down, so you can kind of see it a little better. But you can see, like, in quadrant 3, the green one still has the same values for x and y, but now they're both negative, because the direction you're moving in changes. So look at how that relates, and I will in a second show you all 4. So here's the entire unit circle all in one. This is a great thing for you to know. It's a great thing for you to practice. It's kind of ties everything we've done into one with the trig and the special right triangles, and this is going to relate to what you are going to start doing next week. So, and as well as Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus and beyond. So it is a great place to start. If you've got questions, make sure you're getting help. Rewatch this, review this,